bring in Dr Kyle Hoath, the AMA WA President. Thanks very much for your time, Doctor.
No worries, Gary.
All right. Well, we're talking about it again because of these 5 additional tests that have come back with a result that's above the acceptable guidelines in relation to lead. Does this concern you?
Oh, look, of course it does, Gary. I mean, no amount of lead is considered safe, certainly not in a children's hospital. But really, for me, the most concerning part is the fact that we had to get to this point for the news to come out. I mean, there should be full transparency on this sort of stuff. I think it undermines our trust in the hospitals when stories come to light in this manner.
Last Friday, of course, the Child and Adolescent Health Service put out a statement to the media, attributable to the Chief Executive, that said that there had been 0 exceedances since early 2024 of lead levels. That's turned out not to be true. That's a concern in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty embarrassing, and I hope that they weren't fully aware. Otherwise, it's an attempt to cover up this sort of news, which again just undermines our confidence in our hospitals and in the hospital sector. I mean, we've got to be open and honest about these things. I mean, lead was also an issue during the construction of PCH, so it's not a new thing, and the wards have to be shut down and managed, as we heard from the ministry, is being done, which is good and appropriate, but we shouldn't find out about it in this way.
Do you have any inkling as to which areas of the hospital? Have you heard anything? Because they talked about 2 sites that are now being, quote unquote, decommissioned until they can be remediated. What do you know anything about which ones?
No, I don't know any specifics on that, unfortunately.
Do you think we should know, or people inside the hospital be made aware of it? Because, I don't know. The way that I understand water supplies is that they can cross many areas, not just sort of one specific tap.
Well, look, the hospital water supplies are normally pretty robust in that regard, so that they are able to kind of isolate individual water sources to prevent that kind of cross-contamination. But it gets back to my point, right, which is we shouldn't be getting surprises of things that happened months or a year ago. We should be getting some transparency around these sort of situations so the public can have some confidence in the safety of the way our hospitals are run. I have no doubt that it's safe to be at PCH right now. I have no doubt that they're handling this issue appropriately, but it's concerning to me that it's any attempt not to be transparent and open about that, or to hide that's unacceptable.
What about the level of lead? Do you know what it is?
No, again, we sort of hear the same as you around any sort of exceedances. I mean, but ultimately the risk with lead is that there really is no safe level, like particularly in children. Even a small amount of lead in water can have a pretty significant impact on development. I mean, there is no such thing as a safe level in that regard.
So what do you think from a AMA point of view, where do you think this should go now, given that we only learnt about this because the Minister stood up in Parliament and declared that there'd been 5 other exceedances of the levels. And the strangest thing about that is that last week, when this was on the front page of the newspaper that there'd been 11 exceedances, the government was very quick to say, well, look, we knew about it, but we were told that there was no need to tell the public.
Yeah, look, I think this probably highlights the fact that there is a need to tell the public. We don't want to finding out these things afterwards is just doesn't instill trust in the way the health system is run. So, for me going forward, I'd like to see that I guess the full extent of what's been seen in these current exceedances and the measures that are being taken, which I guess and to the minister's credit, that's what was done in Parliament today. But going forward, like any sort of workplace safety issue or any particular risk to the patients at hospitals should be reported openly and promptly, and certainly not coming to light later.
Well, no, I thought that was interesting that the minister's decided that there's now a directive for the heads of departments to inform her if there are exceedances, and the government itself, if there are exceedances. You would have expected that to be the norm.
I would have expected that to be the norm, absolutely.
Okay, well, we'll see where it goes from here because, again, we're not sort of privy to being able to go in there and do testing. We have to take people at the responsibility they have. We have to take that at face value. But it seems like something's going on here where on Friday we all receive a statement saying there's been no exceedances since early 2024, and then suddenly we're being told that there's been a further 5, and we don't even know what the dates of those are or which parts of the hospital they're at or what level. So
Yeah, I mean, precisely. And I think there is this balance between, there will be exceedances below that 0.01, which, we don't want to raise unnecessary concern in the public around accessing our hospitals, but that's very different to multiple reported exceedances that seemingly to some level the health minister is unaware of, and then now the general public is completely unaware of, and the needle on how severe the problem is shifting. Like that's concerning to me. This should be a very clear, here's the results of the testing and here's what we're doing about it, not this kind of murky shifting of the story.
all right, Doctor, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Gary. Bye.
Dr Kyle Hoath there, the AMA president here in Western Australia.